What's going on, family? It's your brother Mama Wild of Vegas, and today I wanted to go over the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. I think it's fitting for the month that we in, and it's a powerful story with a lot of lessons in it. So, for those who haven't read it, it's gonna be new to you. For those who have, it's gonna be a refreshment. So, let's get into it. All right, before we get into the main part, prior to this, some context. Abraham was being told he was being advised that he was gonna have a child at 99 years of age. And his wife Sarah overheard the conversation and she laughed because she just didn't believe, like, oh, there's no way I can have a baby at this age, because she was up there as well. You could get that earlier, but for time's sake, we're just gonna get straight into the passage. So let's go to Genesis chapter 18 and verse 20. And then they were pretty much having a conversation amongst themselves, like, should we let Abraham know what they were going to do next? And then this is what they were going to do next. This leads into Sodom and Gomorrah. So let's get it. Genesis 18 and verse 20. So the Lord told Abraham, I have heard a great outcry from Sodom and Gomorrah because their sin is so flagrant. I am going down to see if their actions are as wicked as I've heard. If not, I want to know. The other man turned and headed toward Sodom, but the Lord remained with Abraham. Abraham approached him and said, will you sweep away both the righteous and the wicked? Suppose you find 50 righteous people living there in the city. Will you sweep it away and not spare it for their sakes? Verse 25. Surely you wouldn't do such a thing, destroying the righteous along with the wicked. Why would you be treating the righteous and the wicked exactly the same? Surely you wouldn't do that. Should not the judge of all the earth do what is right? And the Lord replied, if I find 50 righteous people in Sodom, I will spare the entire city for their sake. And Abraham spoke again, since I have begun, let me speak further to my Lord, even though I am but dust and ashes. So Abraham knew exactly what he was about to ask the Most High. And the Most High knew too, but Abraham still approached it with humility. So let's go to verse 28. And it reads, suppose there are only 45 righteous people rather than 50. Will you destroy the whole city for the lack of 5? And the Lord said, I will not destroy it if I find only 45 righteous people there. Then Abraham pressed his request further. Suppose there are only 40. And the Lord replied, I will not destroy it for their sake of the 40. Verse 30. Please don't be angry, my Lord, Abraham pleaded. Let me speak. Suppose only 30 righteous people are found. And the Lord replied, I will not destroy it if I find 30. Verse 31. And Abraham said, since I have dared to speak to the Lord, let me continue. Suppose there are only 20. And the Lord replied, then I will not destroy it for their sake of the 20. So you see Abraham, he keep pressing it further and further to see how low he could go. Let's go to verse 32. Finally, Abraham said, Lord, please don't be angry with me if I speak one more time. Suppose only 10 are found there. And the Lord replied, then I will not destroy it for their sake of the 10. Verse 33. When the Lord had finished his conversation with Abraham, he went on his way, and Abraham returned to his tent. So this here is true compassion, because Abraham could have just taken the info he got about him having a child at 99 and kept it pushing, but he didn't. He knew it would be down there impossible to find 50 righteous in Sodom. So he kept asking. He got all the way down to 10 good people. Then asked, can you spare the whole city for their sake? Most people would have been like, that's on them, and not cared what happened next. But he stood up for them. But let's get into Sodom and Gomorrah. Let's go to Genesis chapter 19 and verse 1. And it reads, that evening the two angels came to the entrance of the city of Sodom. Lot was sitting there, and when he saw them, he stood up to meet them. Then he welcomed them and bowed with his face to the ground. My lords, he said, come to my home to wash your feet and be my guest for the night. You may then get up early in the morning and be on your way again. Oh no, they replied. We'll just spend the night out here in the city square. Verse 3. But Lot insisted. So at last they went home with him. Lot prepared a feast for them, complete with fresh bread and made without yeast, and they ate. So Lot knew how evil this town was. So he was trying to protect these angels because he knew he had a discernment enough to know that these were righteous individuals. So let's go to verse 4. But before they retired for the night, all the men of Sodom, young and old, came from all over the city and surrounded the house. They shouted to Lot, there are men who came to spend the night with you. Bring them out to us so we can have sex with them. Verse 6. So Lot stepped outside to talk to them, shutting the door behind him. Please, my brothers, he begged, don't do such a wicked thing. Behold, now I have two daughters which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and you do them as good as in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing to therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. Verse 10. But the two angels reached out, pulled Lot into the house, and bolted the door. Then they blinded all the men, young and old, who were at the door of the house. So they gave up trying to get inside. Verse 12. Meanwhile, the angels questioned Lot. Do you have any relatives here in the city? They asked. Get them out of this house, this place. Your son-in-laws, sons, daughters, or anyone else. Verse 13. For we are about to destroy the city completely. The outcry against this place is so great, it has reached the Lord, and he has sent us to destroy it. So Lot rushed out to tell his daughters, fiancés, quick, get out the city. The Lord is about to destroy it. But the young man thought he was only joking. Verse 15. At dawn the next morning, the angels became insistent. Hurry, they said to Lot. Take your wife and your two daughters who are here. Get out of town right now, or you will be swept away in the destruction of the city. Then Lot still hesitated. The angel seized his hand and the hands of his wife and two daughters and rushed them to safety outside the city, for the Lord was merciful. Verse 17. When they were safely out of the city, one of the angels ordered, run for your lives and do not look back or stop anywhere in the valley. Escape to the mountains or you will be swept away. Oh no, my Lord, Lot begged. You have been so gracious to me and saved my life. You have shown such great kindness, but I cannot go to the mountains. Disaster will catch up to me there, and I will soon die. Verse 20. See, there's a small village nearby. Please let me go instead. Don't you see how small it is? Then my life will be saved. All right, the angel said, I will grant you this request. I will not destroy the little village. Verse 22. But hurry, escape to it, for I can do nothing until you arrive there. This explains why the village was known as Zor, which means little place. Verse 23. Lot reached the village just as sun was risen over the horizon. Verse 24. Then the Lord rained down fire and burning sulfur from the sky on Sodom and Gomorrah. He utterly destroyed them, along with the other cities and villages of the plain, wiping out all the people and every bit of the vegetation. Verse 25. But Lot's wife looked back as she was following behind him, and she turned into a pillar of salt. This place was overthrown for their wickedness. But the main sin that them angels was like, nah, this place is too wicked, was homosexuality. And that was the whole point of me getting this story, because that is a major sin in God's eyes. Let's get it. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 18 and verse number 22. And it reads, do not practice homosexuality. Having sex with another man as with a woman, it is a detestable sin. So we all know that that's not normal. A plug goes into a socket to produce energy. A seed goes into soil to produce life. A key goes into a lock to bring access. In the same way, the Most High made us so we can reproduce. Let's get a second witness, though, just to prove it. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 13. If a man practices homosexuality, having sex with another man as with a woman, both men have committed a detestable act. They must both be put to death, for they are guilty of a capital offense. So this is a capital offense, which means this is so bad of a sin that the punishment for it is death. Let's get one more. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 17. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel. So we just read about Sodom and Gomorrah, but that place has a name to it now. So it says no sodomite. Sodomite in the Hebrew just means a male temple prostitute. It means someone involved in homosexual acts. So that's 3 laws showing you that this is a detestable act and the Most High does not approve of it. Let's go to the New Testament. This is Romans chapter 1 and verse 24. I'm going to get this in the NLT. So God abandoned them to do whatever shameful things that were in their hearts desired. As a result, they did vile and degrading things with each other's bodies. So this was written when the Romans were in rulership. So they was involved in orgies, idolatrous rituals involving sex where they using their bodies as tools for pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Public sex acts. The Romans was into all kind of wickedness. Let's go to verse 25. And it reads, they traded the truth about God for a lie. So they worshiped and served the things God created instead of the Creator himself, who is worthy of eternal praise. Amen. People did it back then, and they do it now. There's nothing new under the sun. People worshiping crystals, the sun, moon, stars, animal, people. I know a girl that was talking to a dude, and she was feeling him. They went on a couple dates, and she was really into Brett, and she found out his zodiac sign wasn't compatible with hers, and she said she couldn't do it. That goes to show you how much we feed into this nonsense. Let's go to verse 26. That is why God abandoned them to their shameful desires. Even the women turned against the natural way to have sex and instead indulged in sex with each other. The natural way is for a man to reproduce with a woman. That plastic strap isn't sex. It's not making love or making babies. The KJV says that the woman changed the natural use of her body. What's the natural use? Carrying life, producing milk, being feminine. A lot of these women cut off their breasts to look more masculine, refuse to get pregnant because they don't want to be with a man, consume all kind of testosterone pills blocking their estrogen. This is not the natural way. If it was, you wouldn't have to do all of that. Verse 27. And the men, instead of having normal sexual relations with women, burned with lust for each other. Men did shameful things with other men, and as a result of this sin, they suffered within themselves the penalty they deserve. What do you think the penalty is that they deserve? Think about it. In America, homosexual men have the highest rates of HIV and AIDS compared to any other group. Right? Let's go to verse 28 though. And it reads, since they thought it was foolish to acknowledge God, he abandoned them to their foolish thinking and let them do things that should never be done. This act should never be done, or the Most High will allow you to suffer the consequences, but ultimately losing out on the kingdom. Let's get that. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse number 9. And it reads, don't you realize that those who do wrong will not inherit the kingdom of God? Don't fool yourselves. Those who indulge in sexual sin, or who worship idols, or commit adultery, or are male prostitutes, sodomites, what we just said, or practice homosexuality. So these people will not inherit the kingdom. I get what it feels like. It's part of who you are. But in reality, it's a spiritual influence. A demon feeding on your mind. Those sinful thoughts stirring up desires in your flesh that go against this truth. It's not who you are. And this truth is God's law. And you just read God's law is not for this. Let's go to Luke chapter 17, verse 26. And it reads, and as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the Son of Man. They did eat, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. I'm sure when Noah was building the ark, people was walking up scoffing, but he was still giving them a warning like it's about to rain. They thought he was crazy, I'm sure, until it started raining. Something they had never seen before. Let's go to verse 28. Likewise, also, it was in the days of Lot. They did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they builded. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. Verse 30. Even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. So we just read how Lot warned his family that Sodom was about to be destroyed. But his daughter's fiancés thought he was tripping. They was looking at him like, oh, Lot tripping right now. Even said they thought he was joking. Well, just like they were warned before destruction hit, I pray this video is a warning to you. Whatever sin you're caught in, it's time to turn from it and get right with the Most High God. Let's drop down to verse 32. Verse 32. It's one of the shortest verses in the Bible, but it's super heavy. Remember Lot's wife. Because she heard the truth and heard the destruction coming, but looked back into the world like she was missing out on something. You ever heard the saying, don't focus on your past or you will trip up on your future? Something like that. But she died for not listening. So you may think that these messages is coming out and you may feel conflicted, or you might feel like, oh, they're getting on me, but it's honestly a warning and it's love. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to get one more verse and I'm going to close out. This is Proverbs chapter 27 and verse 5. Open rebuke is better than secret love. True love isn't afraid to speak truth. When you direct, it gets more respected. Even if it's uncomfortable or that information hurt, it's better to have somebody openly correct you for, or you would rather have a yes man in your corner. No, you want somebody to be direct and upfront with you and tell you the truth. But with that being said, I'm going to close out giving all honor, glory, and praise to the Most High God. Real name in the Hebrew is Yahweh. I do so in the name of his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Jesus. And I'm going to say, Shalom.